everybody on this bill.
Right. Dear Lord, look over this body, look over this giving, look over this study, look over this country. Give us the wisdom to do what's right for all people. Look over all the people here tonight. And these things we pray. Amen.
Right, join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Delmer? Here. Mr. Green?
Present.
Mr. Bauer?
I'm here.
Mr. Malloy?
Here.
Mr. Lumberday? Ms. Perry? Here. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Approval of the minutes taken from a regular meeting held on February 11th, 2025. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Fowler. Public comments. Public comments should be if there is any discrepancies in the written minutes only.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Chief, how you doing? Yeah, I had a little discretion because, oh, by the way, my name is Mr. Cornelius Lawson White Jr. I live at 3638 10th Street in Alexandria, Louisiana, 71302. My phone number is area code 318-446-6934. Last 2 weeks ago, apparently my mic was cut off, and people have been telling me that, so that's a discrepancy right there. There was a lady that stood up, and according to number 6 on the rules of the city council, they're supposed to sign up, correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, she never did sign up, and y'all never did call her, and she just stood up when she asked for the public. So that's another discrepancy. Now, I've been in my area for about 50 years, and the flooding situation is because, no, you talking about the discrepancy, I'm gonna give you the
No,
discrepancy.
it's in the written minutes.
Well, there is a discrepancy because if it's been misled about what the flooding situation is over there, don't you have to straighten it out?
Mr. White, it's in the written.
Yeah, I'm telling you that the written minutes are wrong.
What makes them wrong?
Okay. When my parents bought over there in that district, you can see the railroad is high. It's been up there for 100 years like that. So apparently they knew that that was a flood area. Now you see the new fire department, it's up as high as it's supposed to be.
Mr. Benitez, this is not.
Yeah, that's a part of it.
No, sir, it's not.
Yes, it is, because,
I'm not gonna argue.
I know you're not.
You know we're not. We're not gonna do that.
but see, you beat me down by just not letting me
See,
say what I need to say.
Excuse me, Mr. White. How did I beat you down? No.
I said, somebody cut my mic off last 2 weeks.
Mister, you're losing your time.
Well, that's fine. But all I'm trying to get straight is, when we moved over there, they knew that was a floodplain. They should have lifted the houses up as high, there's a new house that's over there.
Mr. White, we're not gonna do this.
Well, why?
We're not.
When you silence in the public, that's what you're telling me.
No,
I can't, in other words, I can't tell the truth about what is misled about the minutes.
I'm not saying you can't tell the truth, and I'm not saying that the minutes are misled, but we're not gonna go back and forth. This is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that was part of it.
It's
2
not.
weeks ago was a flood.
It's not, though.
It what?
It's not what we're talking about today, Mr. White.
You know, that's what's wrong. That's why I
Mr.
asked.
White.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
I asked you to have a vote for regular order so that we could speak out freely. I know my time is up, so I'm gonna
Thank
sit
you.
down.
We'll get it on.
Next, oh, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. To hear report from Marilyn Jones, unforgotten veterans of St. Laurence birthday. Yeah, you wanna say something?
Yeah, I'll speak first. These two young ladies in front of you is my town Cheneyville. They can speak for themselves, three of them. They are their sisters, they are younger sisters. And they are doing amazing work, for these homeless veterans. And I'm so honored you guys asked me at the beginning, 5 years ago, to be a part of the board. And I'm gonna feel something. You guys just make me so proud to see you guys what you're doing. That's called service at its best right there.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you being with us here. Good evening, leaders of Alexandria, your constituents, and friends. First of all, we'd just like to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come before you to inform you all of our new program and to just give you a general update on what Unforgotten Veterans is doing. We are really JB Housing Group, but we're doing business as Unforgotten Veterans. We are a nonprofit organization based here in Alexandria over on Jackson Street in the Dunbar Plaza. We are a GPD program working with homeless vets, and we're providing homes for veterans in the Alexandria and Pineville area. The last time we were here, we were talking about the challenges that we're facing, one being finding landlords and property managers who would work with the homeless period. I can tell you now that it has improved a little, but we still have a long way to go. Once they hear that these are homeless people that we're working with, they don't want to deal with us. At this time, I think we have 2 realtors that works with us and a couple of private property managers. Let's see. The vets that we work with have to go to the VA, and I don't know if you all are aware that the VA has a homeless department. But before they come to us, they go through the VA for an assessment. The VA then send us a referral. After that, we interview them to determine if they are appropriate for our program. If they are found suitable for the program, we then go out to find houses. The houses or apartments that we find are affordable apartments. We don't look for anything that they can't continue to maintain once we're out of the picture. The vets that come to us normally stay anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Some of them have incomes, some do not. For those that do not have an income, we have a gentleman from the VA who comes to visit once a month to talk to them about finding positions, and sometimes they give them jobs at the VA, just little jobs until they find, the main job that they're interested in. Those that don't have income, we go to the food bank with them to make sure they get food. If they need bus passes, we provide that. If they need a way back and forth to the doctor, we do that. But most of our apartments are on, well, all of our apartments are on bus routes. So that will allow for them to have transportation for those that do not have automobiles. Again, we look for affordable apartments. 5 years we have been in existence here. All of our people have completed the program, and with our housing too, when they come into the program, they are staged. They have everything that you need in a home with the exception of a television. They can't believe it, most of them, when they walk in there. Some of them even began to break down in tears, just amazed at what they are seeing. So we're very proud of the work that we're doing with our veterans. In order to be placed in our program, they have to have they have to be honorably discharged, other than honorable discharge. I told you before that they can come with income or without income. And while they're in the program, they are required to save 30% of their income. That is, we verify this each month during our meetings to make sure that they are actually saving. We like to deal with veterans who are looking for a hand up, not a hand out.
Yes.
So far, it's working. We're just continuing to grow. We now have a new program that Marilyn is gonna tell you all about.
Okay.
Our new program is case management. We collaborated with the VA, of course, for this particular program. And what this program does is we work at HUD Bash at the VA. They interview, they determine whether the veterans qualify within. In the event that they do, they refer them directly to the case management program, which I'm on the move with. But that's okay, it's gratifying. I promise you it is, especially when I'm with them and we are out searching for houses. That's the HUD Bash part, because once I find housing, we fill out application with that landlord. I contact, it's called SSB, program, SBF program, I'm sorry. That program assists that veteran in paying deposit for your utilities and your first month rent. So I have to be on the P's and the Q's to make sure that I'm matching that veteran with that, that landlord or with that apartment. They actually pay a percentage of their rent with this particular program. But we also work with PHA, which is that Public Housing Authority. They provide vouchers for those clients. So of course, there's a 30%. And the majority of the veterans that I work with, they have an income. And that's how they qualify into the program. And what JB Housing Unforgotten Veterans of Sinlaw does, because that is our business, what they do is 6 months in this particular program. Once they complete this program, on the 5th month, I'm discussing with the lead person of HUD Bash at the VA. Because they'll be coming out on the 6th month. And that we want to know or make sure that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do to maintain, sustain their housing. So what I do is every month, when they first come in the program for the first 3 months, I do home visits, making sure that their rent is paid. And the majority of them don't pay very much. But when you work with veterans, sometimes, especially the ones that's not adjusted to having housing, it's a reminder. Don't forget your rent is due. Did you get a chance to go downtown and pay your utilities? In the event that they need any of those things that I mentioned, we have a vehicle that I transport, not only to pay utilities if they need to go to the VA on any medical appointments, if they need to go to the bank, if they need anything, any other services, that's what I'm there for. So therefore, transition in place and this program go hand in hand. Because some of our veterans that complete the TIP program, they may need another little uplifting. So what we do, or what we can do, is transfer them over to the case management program. And I can follow them for the next 6 months in the event that they need a little more help than the others. Also, with the case management program,
if, once I meet with the lead person at the, VA, when it's almost time, which is that 5th month, for case management veterans to transfer over back to the VA. If I feel, and the lead person feel that that person may need a little more time, I can ask for an extension, and I have asked for extension on more than one person. And that makes a difference to them. It definitely makes a difference for us. Thank you, guys.
I failed to tell you about an important part of the TIP program, and that is we are responsible for paying their rent and their utilities for the 6 to 9 months that they are in the program.
Or for the 9 to 12 months that they're in the program.
Yes, we do all of that for them. And once they have completed the program, everything in the house is theirs. The only thing they have to do is get with the landlord to put the lease in their name. Because when they first come, it's in Unforgotten Vet's name. They put the lease in their name. We leave the deposits there for them. And then they go down to the city of Alexandria, if the place is in Alexandria, and pay the transfer of utilities to their name. So what else can you ask for when you have somebody paying your rent and your utilities for that period of time, and you just save your money? Again,
You locate these veterans, how do you go about finding these veterans?
they are coming from the VA. They send us referrals. Sometimes they find out about us, they call us, and we give them the number to the VA. Our liaison is Dana Melder over there, and she does the assessment, and then she sends them, if they qualify, she sends them, to my program or to Maryland's program.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay, thank you. I thought so.
They come to my Zoom.
We do.
I just. I still want y'all, one quick question. Are those referrals to, social work services or their primary care providers?
You're asking if they are,
The veterans that get referred to the program,
Uh-huh.
or referrals to, social work services?
Both.
Or
Both.
their primary care?
it's both of them.
Both, okay.
Yes.
So, one, thank you, lady.
Thank you for what y'all do.
C, consent calendar. Introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept street and drainage improvements for Adrian Drive of the Hope House of Central Louisiana Residential Development Subdivision. Number 2, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the interstate agreement for the capital improvement metropolitan planning organization project for Sunny Drive, Texas Avenue, to Lee Street.
Second. I mean, the second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilwoman Phillips. Any items to committee? None.
H, resolution. Number 3, resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Alexandria, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal of a special tax therein, making application to the state bond commission in connection therewith, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Ward. Public comments?
President, this is Mr. Stewart here, Foley, Dale, and Bond Council, if you would like to address the council.
Thank you. I'll be brief. French with Foley Dell on council. You had at a previous council meeting, you made an announcement that, as required by state law, that you were going to consider an election call at this meeting to submit to the voters at the May 3rd election, the question of renewal of your construction millage tax that you've been levying for a number of decades. It is time to consider a renewal of that tax, and this would do it. It does not increase the tax rate. It is not a new tax, but it is purely a renewal, and it is limited, as it has been for many years, to construction projects in the city.
So in other words, that's from drainage projects, and things like that, the roads.
That is correct. It has a listing in it of, first of all, it's for constructing, acquiring, improving capital improvement projects, including but not limited to Sugar House Road, Riverfront, and downtown capital projects, Chatlet, overflow structures projects, city-owned infrastructure improvements, residential ditch closures, steep street improvements and repairs, parks and recreation improvements.
Public comments?
Then we'll come back to us, correct?
Ms. McCall?
Happy Black History Month to everyone. You guys know me already. So my question to this resolution, the first question I have is, what is the reason for renewing the tax proposition 3 years prior to its expiration? Why are we so?
You can come on, Mr. He'll be answering questions. Yes, sir.
All right.
He'll be answering your questions.
No, I can respond. The State Bond Commission recommends that for the expiring of tax, you consider renewal of that tax at least 2 years in advance of expiration. It expires in 2027.
Okay. All right, next question. What is the reason for extending the period of tax propositions from, it started out at 5 years, it went to 10 years, now we're at 20 years. What was the reason for it to be that long? When it originally started out at 5?
Right. And this will correspond more to the recreation tax that the city has levied now that has been renewed, and it is for a term actually in excess of 20 years. But this will also permit the city, if it elects to do so, if this council elects to do so, it will be able to accelerate construction projects by borrowing against that. And the city council has done that previously. Did it in 2008. It issued bonds, borrowed against it, and was able to accelerate a number of the construction projects in the city.
The issue we probably are having is, and you guys are very well familiar with it, majority of this money does not go back into districts 1, 2, and 3. We've already shown it. They spent $14 million, close to $14 million on Jack's down from the last recreation tax that was done. So my thing is, we need to come up with another way of making sure districts 1, 2, and 3 gets this money. Because what we've been told, and we've been looking, and we've been told this over and over again, and you guys live in these neighborhoods, you know your drainage, you know you still have open ditches. 20 years later, you still have open ditches. You still have drainage problems. You still have brown water. You still don't have cameras up. And we know this is a construction, I get that. But this empty promises and that not limited to, keep that in mind whenever they add that on. Keep that in mind. That means something, because you know what? Before, it wasn't in this rule before. It got put in here when the first time Mayor Roy became the mayor. That's when not limited to was added. So keep this in mind when this comes up, okay? Keep that in mind, because that wasn't originally part of what that tax said when you read the original one. That's all. I just want to keep y'all informed of it. The last question I have is there a prioritized list of specific capital projects to use this funding with? Do we have a list of this right here, the Sugar House Road? Y'all live in Sugar House. Y'all know Sugar House Road. You know, Miss Perry, you live there.
I do.
Why isn't it completed in 20-something years? I'm just saying. Thank you for your time.
You know the response to that question? No, well, that would be a question, she's trying, yes, he got a response. She posed the question, is someone gonna respond to that?
I wrote them all down.
We don't have anybody that can answer that question for us.
You're here to decide if you want the people to get a chance to vote for themselves on whether they want capital projects.
Right.
This is someone trying to use this meeting to kill a tax before the people decide. So with the law is.
I guess, comment there, Roy.
Those were political statements.
I'm here to respond. It's just, my concern is we're doing this without having first have input from constituents. And I'm concerned about placing, making this vote, and I have not first discussed this with constituents to get some direction or guidance on what they want. You know, because this matter failed in 23, correct?
So, Mr. Warburton, this is to allow the people to have that time period as your clerk and everyone's nodding their heads.
I understand that, but for all intents and purposes, we're in March, and this is election in May. Do you think that's enough time for people to really be informed about?
Mr. Warburton, this tax will be 20 years in the running. We're talking about 40 total years of capital outlay for a tax. If you want to not allow the people to renew a property tax based on someone who doesn't live in the city and doesn't pay property tax,
It's not that.
that's been denying people the right to vote. I want people to be able to vote. I want people to be able to get information and decide for themselves if they're for this tax or not. The only way to start that process is by allowing the people to have it on a call. This seems like trying to kill something and deny people the right to vote. That's undemocratic.
It's not, by no means, I don't want you to think that. But I have constituents in the audience, and they're very vocal, and they love District 1. And I like getting guidance from them on how I should vote, and I feel like I'm voting without guidance. It would be nice if we could have had, some discussions about this and vet this out, because now I'm getting this report. And I know he's doing a great job, he's doing his job, but now I'm called upon to make a decision to vote on something, and I don't know what.
But you're not voting on, you're only voting.
I understand, but some people may not even want to.
If you ask, can I answer? Mr. Sluter, is this process you've experienced today, as you indicate, so sort of abnormal for a renewal of this type?
We do, with political subdivisions across the state, millage renewals on a routine basis. We've had 10-year renewals, 15 years, 25-year renewals, and they are required to go to the voters for their consideration, whether they wish to renew a tax or not. And we generally suggest political subdivision, you start at least 2 years in advance. We've done that for decades. And now the State Bond Commission recommends that also for all political subdivisions. So as far as the timing standpoint, the reason why the Bond Commission is recommending at least 2 years in advance is, one, the time period for placing an item on the ballot is significantly longer this time. For example, for the October 11th election, we have to start at the March meeting of a political subdivision. Also, if a tax renewal fails, most public bodies want at least the opportunity to come back in additional time. So that's what the State Bond Commission is recommending this time.
I'll say something.
My concern, and I understand, my concern is the not limited to. Should have voted, it's been there for a year, matter of fact, the staff should have voted back in the late 70s. So, I understand concern, the So if it's not limited to that, mean that all capital projects, right? We cover all capital projects.
But it has to come back to the city council for you. We have to
Yes, I understand that. I'm just reaching
find the money, that's all we're doing.
Yes, yeah, I understand.
You know, we don't know what we want to use that money for. The budget.
So if you don't have the money, then you can't do the capital projects, correct?
Not only, if you don't ultimately, and I know what I would say about this tax and what I know it did, what I know the council was able to borrow, using this as spark and what districts receive. I'm not here to debate stuff that's just untrue and can factually be shown that. What I would tell you is what I would tell the council is, it not only funds general capital projects, which you have to have, or the city will be in a failure situation on drainage and roads alone, what you want in a call like this. All of these things have to be, you don't know, as Mr. Caffrey just said to me, in 20 years' time or even 10, capital projects come in out of money as we've gone over. Grants are matched, they can become unmatched. The reason you place items in a call is because it allows the people to hold you accountable to the signature projects you said. Before my time, that project was Coltech. It was for years of that. In this time with the Spark bonds that were part of using this tax to accelerate, as Grant described, those projects included Ruston Foundry and others. Ruston Foundry was completed to residential level cleaning up. It came out. What took its place is what we've talked about with you, listening to the public. What was it? The Chaplain Outfall Structures, a critical project. So this allows you to give a list of those things that later you may decide, in addition to having the tax, we want to bar against it and accelerate, take money up front that amortizes out. We were able to, we paid those off early in cases. We were able to do a lot of work by leveraging money. And so that's what this is in place to do.
Are we
There
still
is,
currently paying the bonds?
are we still currently paying bonds?
Are we still servicing debt?
We are servicing debt on a 2008 bond that,
They are paid off, they have been paid off.
but they were paid off in, go ahead.
Okay, so do we have any other debts out there?
We have no debt outstanding payable from this particular millage, the capital improvement tax.
What about other villages? What about other debts?
That's what I was gonna say, not from this one, but we had a 2008 sales tax.
We have a sales tax bond issue that's outstanding from 2008, and it has 2 to 3 years more.
It'll be paid off in 2 years.
It'll be paid off fairly quickly.
Didn't we borrow some from the utility system? We're still servicing that money? We servicing that debt? Is that separate or?
I didn't.
On the utility system?
Yes.
Yeah, the utility system has been financed with utility revenue bonds, and there are a number of series of bonds outstanding, publicly sold bonds and others that have been sold through the state. 2 of the issues have forgiveness, so principal and interest will never be paid on that, on those 2 issues.
And when will the utility stuff be paid off?
I haven't read yet.
I just want to know, man, but so here's the deal, like, this is where we discuss this.
Yeah.
Because, like, people have these questions, and we're confined in such a short time span to really vet out all these issues and people discuss this.
Except that it hasn't been short. It's been 2 years that this discussion could have come up last time, and we just are getting these questions just now. Now, I've been meeting with some of the council members who routinely go over this and want to make sure. But it isn't fair to me that this is a surprise. This is a renewal. It's not a surprise at all. It's a renewal that already was rejected. So this is only to put on the, not rejected by the people, sir. The people haven't been given a chance to vote. It was rejected by the
They didn't
council.
know about it. They were not.
So, and then when the people got a chance to vote, they rejected it. So this council has to decide if a few hundred people stop a millage that pays for all the projects you guys are concerned about in your district.
And you haven't been done.
I mean, we can show a list of what they are, but listen, you have a few people here. If we go poll the city of Alexandria about whether they want this capital millage in place, and here are the projects it routinely does. Forget singular projects. It will be overwhelming that people say, oh, no, I'm gonna lose that, because this is what happens if you don't have a millage for capital projects. You can't, forget borrowing money, you can't have the regular money in your capital outlay would be a material hit. So the very idea you would be against it because you say it's not doing, it does it every day. That's how roads are fixed every day. With this tax that's in place right now, it's doing that work now. When it rolls off in 2 years, once it's not there, that's immediate money going out of your budget.
All right, Mayor, now, Mr. Sluter, correct? Sluter, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you recommend that it be 2 years project expiration, correct? I don't want to misquote you, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, at least 2 years.
At least two.
At least 2 years, and we're up in December of 27, right?
It's an annual levy on a property tax, and the last levy that's authorized is 2027.
Okay, so do we still have a window that we can still do this and briefly delay this?
Absolutely, you can go as late, which you would never want to do, and it would not make a lot of sense. You could renew it immediately prior to its expiration, which would be fine, and you could continue it on the tax roll if everything goes perfectly. Let me tell you what can happen, because it's happened to me. Okay, we had delays in elections because of a hurricane event. A sales tax expired because the school board up north did not renew it early. And they scheduled it for a renewal, and that date was changed by the state. We've also had legislation, pandemic caused a delay in an election date also. We've also had bills in the legislature periodically, and several years ago, one of those bills was almost passed, and it would have restricted all elections to one election date per year. And we're concerned about things beyond our control that may keep you off the ballot and not be able to renew a tax. Voters generally receive tax renewals. We're not increasing the tax, much better than they do if it's a new tax.
And if in 2 years, some other more controversial tax that's not a renewal, or something the state imposed that you guys aren't even for comes up, you can imagine when you have a ballot with all those things. Look, this isn't a secret to get it done. There's no spectacular time to do it. The funny thing is, for most Americans and for most Louisianans, renewals were not controversial until the last few years. A renewal was non-controversial because it is truly only renewing what already exists. People have a sense of whether they want to pay that again or not. They have now become, like any tax, through a lot of misinformation, controversial. The bottom line is here, forget borrowing against it, forget any spectacular, special, unique other project. This is your basic capital outlay. Millage. This is a property tax that people pay who build all over the city. And it is the case, and I think many of you know it, that particularly districts 1 and 3 are the main beneficiaries of this. Central beneficiaries of any other district in the city. We can have snickering or whatever, but y'all seen the projects, you have to approve. This is an easily provable statement that I make. But you can't convince anybody who wants to believe that it's conspiratorial or something else of anything. You can just show the data and the facts. The people helped are sitting in this audience. Rev, you need this renewal. Ultimately, you have to have these things in place. This is basic running of your city on capital projects. The most basic. And you're not doing anything tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You're not binding anybody to anything. All you're doing is letting the people in a democratic process decide if they want it. And that's a lot more people than sitting in this room. There are thousands of people who may want to weigh in on it. who the first time didn't even know what it was. Go look at how many people voted in that. That's pathetic. Okay.
If I may, Mayor, President, the tax renewal failed. And the count was a low turnout. Mayor, you say that we're voting for the citizens to have the right to vote for the renewal. But thanks to this council putting this book on the web, these people are reading. The tax that will be called for May the 3rd will cost the citizens $82,700 if we vote yes tonight. If we vote no and come back in 2 years, you will save $82,700. It's in the record. The citizens that I have spoken with, being councilman at large,
Goes up.
excuse me,
Typically, the cost of doing things go up, including this, unless it's included in some other deal, it would not go down. Costs don't.
well, I'm only repeating what is in this book and was brought to my attention. And I left a meeting today, and I question people from all over the city, since I'm councilman at large, just not 1, 2, and 3, but 4 and 5. And they're saying that with this on the books, they want to know, have we seen any pre-drawings for Sugar House Road, which has been on there for 5 years? They want to know residential ditches, what streets, let's be specific. Street improvements, what streets are? Park and recreation, which parks are going to be receiving what amount, how much? It's what the questions are coming to me. I asked them to call the mayor's office because this is his agenda and we are voting on to either pass it or not pass it. I didn't write this. I read it just as you all read it yourselves. You came up with these questions. You called me. I purposely gave you my cell number to call me, but I also gave you the number to call the mayor's office. If you receive calls, I have no earthly idea. But what I am saying is that the citizens are questioning the whereabouts, why we're putting this on now. You say they have opportunity to look into this, but a special call meeting, I can't see it until I can get some more interest, things besides including but not limited to. And as Mr. Larbian was saying, people are asking for specifics. District 1, 2, and 3, Madam President, you know, there are quite a few ditches in that district, even when I represented it, had not yet been done. We did do some things in that area, but people are asking if we're going to put this tax on, let's be specific. Let's know which parks are getting what. I was in Franco Hunter Park, Cheatham Park. Those parks are still without recreational equipment. Still without recreational equipment. Why is that?
The first project I did coming back as mayor was Cheatham Park, and it continues to be a signature project. That was our first project.
But that's the football field. I'm asking about the playground equipment. Go to company,
Well, you asked me a question, I was gonna tell you.
Okay.
The Cheatham Park playground equipment that was there, that we're redoing, was my project, a Spark project. In fact, all of the project area there was from the work that the administration did. But one thing to correct you on is, this is not my agenda tonight. I did not put this on.
Who did? I did.
If the council doesn't pass this ultimately to let the people vote, you will be in way more trouble with your constituents than you think. But demagoguery and telling people things that are not accurate doesn't help. 65 cents of every capital dollar spent in Spark were spent in what is the equivalent of Ed Larberdane's district. 65 cents of every capital dollar was spent under the Spark project and capital outlay in general under this administration, and what is that equivalent? And the highest amount in District 3. Now, let's keep talking District 3 with stats. What district has the most ditch closures in the city? How much money has been spent in District 3 versus any other district? The property taxes are raised everywhere, but they're spent in Districts 1 and 3, not because people aren't kind or but the opposite, because we know that's where the need is. Those areas were annexed into the city from the parish with many times inferior infrastructure and other problems, and that's where we spend money. New neighborhoods aren't paid for by the city. They're paid for by private developers and donated to the city for operations and maintenance. So anyone can see with any modicum of study that actually the property tax helps the districts indeed the most. And this is not hard to figure out. It only is hard to figure out if you choose to believe things that are inaccurate.
So, okay. I do not spread demagoguery. I'm telling you what is wrote here. So what I asked you again was, in 3 years, why Cheetah Park, why Franklin Hunter Park, children do not have playground equipment? They have a fantastic football field. I grant that. But all those kids do not play on the playground equipment. Matter of fact, as I recall, when I wasn't on the council, Mrs. Perry's grandson got injured on the playground equipment that the city, let me retract, the city removed. So Mayor, all I was saying was, and I'm concluding, that if we pass this tonight, put it on the record to be voted on the 3rd, it's gonna fail because the citizens from Park City are telling me they don't want it. So I said what I said. I spread no demagoguery. I spread it truth. It's in this book. Read it for yourselves, and you all know where we're going. I thank you, Madam President, for your time.
You're welcome, and, it wasn't my grandchild that got injured on the, equipment, Councilman Green. It was another, child that actually got, hurt on the equipment. The equipment was pulled because I had asked for it to be pulled before the child got hurt because it was old. And so the equipment got pulled. I know that when I was sitting in the seat, couldn't get playground equipment because it was during COVID. And I know that COVID is over with, but that's what I was told because they didn't have, enough people to work because, it was during that time of COVID. I also spoke to the mayor and his administration, and they told me that the equipment that they was working on the contract, I was told that. I can only tell you what I have been told. I'm here to be honest with you. So if the equipment is not there, it's not because I'm not asking for it. But like I said, they said that they were working on the contract to get the equipment. That's their word. All I know is I'm like you, Councilman Green. I would love to have the equipment in my park. But I also would like to know that if we do not put this item up to vote, I know that we have the 9,400 in the budget for the equipment. So we have that money in the budget. But for all the other things, the ditch closures, the sidewalk repair, the lights or whatever, how do we pay for that to get repaired without putting this item to be voted for?
I'll mess up. So we have a lot of questions. What are the solutions? I mean, everybody have questions. Everybody have questions, everybody have questions. Now, the way I look at it, now, I agree with some of the great change. But I have capital projects. I've been here 2 years and 2 months that can be funded, haven't been funded because the funds aren't there. So on one side, we're saying, don't. Do what the other side is saying, do it. So, my take is, let's listen to the other, how many more we got? Other, comments, and then we'll come back. We can allow you guys time. So the next person, that's all I said.
Mr. That's fine, Mr.
Come on down.
Would be, and I understand, would be Mr. Ford.
Madam President, I would like to request a waiver of the 3-minute time limit. No way.
I can't do it, Mr. Ford, I'm sorry.
Okay. There was a lot of things said by the mayor. That's not true. Misleading. Okay. So first of all, when you vote on a particular tax renewal, it falls into a particular election. Okay, but that tax is assessed at the end of the year. If you go back to a lot of the previous tax proposals, they were put in the election the same year or the year before, not 3 years before. This expires 2027. We're in 2025, 2026, 2027, and it goes. Now, if we really wanted to, just like they've done in the past, we could take time, defer this, and actually work out those things, because other municipalities, what they've done in the past is when they put a tax proposition on a ballot, they refer to a specific capital improvement list. And that list is part of their budget process. Every year, the city council will look at that list, determine what that criteria is, and assign a priority. And that's where the money goes. Right now, what we got on here, concepts of projects. Not specific projects, concepts of projects. Sugar House Road has been on there for 3 tax proposal renewals. Not a shovel of dirt's been overturned. That could have been advanced long time ago. The other thing is, most of that money, unlike what the mayor said, does not flow into the communities that we're talking about. It simply does not. I challenge the mayor, produce that information, because if you really wanted to be transparent and you wanted to convince the voters of that, I would be throwing that information up in front of you every chance I got. You know, but that's not the case. We can see with our own eyes. Now, what criteria is used to determine the priority of these projects? You know, what criteria?
For council.
Criteria. What criteria? What decides this project is number one and the money goes to that project?
On your criteria.
See? Crickets. All right? Now, what is the reason? It's not crickets. In each budget ordinance, the criteria are listed, P1, P2, P3, and P indeterminate, and they're based on the American College of Civil Engineers criteria, and the highest rated are always drainage and other projects. It's listed in each budget ordinance, including when you were on the council, because I wrote the priorities to be based on the needs of districts 1 and 3 principally.
Well, we had put money in for,
That's it, Mr. Ford.
we had put money in for, projects and in District 2, it was broken up into 3 phases. Phase 2 and phase 3 was removed from the budget.
Don't do this.
It was removed from the budget. We need to defer this so that we can have a good discussion on this.
I would like to respond to them.
Let us respond to this information.
You have to give me your please.
Oh, you can respond, because I'm sure they want to hear it.
I want to address the specific projects, and I may ask Grant to do it. I'm going to help people understand it, but nothing I've said tonight has been untrue. despite what Mr. Porter said. People shouldn't have to do that when they take the mic. It's very easy to say that about someone and not prove it. The same way you can't prove a negative. There's no way to prove what he's saying I didn't do when I can show you the data and have routinely at my briefings shown a pie chart of those projects down to the cent of what we spent. 65 cents on the dollar. So that's a fact. It can't be taken from me. It's politically expedient to try, but that was my commitment in Spark, and I lived to it. In addition, the idea of why you have to have general clauses and things that are make it not locked in and specific are long lessons learned by council members past, like this one. It's very simple, and maybe not all of you have been through it, but you should have by now, and that is this. If you make your capital list that final, and I can't ask Donna and others who she's been here long enough to know, and so is Trey. You've already lived through that. If you make a general capital allocation, I don't think y'all are all here to me, but if you take this and you lock it into just 4 projects, and one of them stops, or you can't do it, do you understand that you can't use the money for any other capital project?
Why would it stop?
Why do I stop?
No, why would it stop if it's for a specific thing?
Legal issues, the state has a different funding priority, you lose the match, it becomes a redundancy that you can't do. You learn of a new way to do the drainage that's way better. Like, this isn't trickery, guys. You know what was trickery? When people lock yourselves into Culpeper Road and some other things that stuck this council for years. It isn't Jock Boy that came up with this. This council learned to do this tax this way. What I did that's different, because a lot of cities he goes to just leaves it, the general allocation for roads and streets and other projects, is I do list things so that you can make sure you're telling people this is a priority. That the other stuff is easy to answer. Sugar House Road, we champion. It has phases that are built. You can go drive down it and see it. Sugar House Road is going through a wetland, if you will. There are tons of problems with getting it there. But this administration in the past and now is progressing it. I wasn't here 3 years ago, Mr. Green, so I can't tell you what happened there. I can tell you this, the architects have approved a citywide handling of all of our equipment. You will benefit from that first, Ms. Perry. I didn't let the equipment go for 4 years. I put in the initial equipment that got let go for 4 years because Spark Projects put those in. I'm going to fix them again because I don't want children on dangerous, cruddy equipment, period. I won't stand for it. And so those projects will happen because we're pushing them now. But if you don't do this, you can't pay for the equipment. The splash pads, we put those in. You can't pay for that operations and maintenance. And I'm not going to blame it all on COVID. It takes someone leading and making sure that you're not deferring maintenance. This is a no-brainer most of the time anywhere. This is the renewal of half of your capital tax. Is that right, Trey? Half?
47%.
47%.
5.4 million.
If you don't do this, you can't plan it. So now let's talk about why 20 years. Grant calls it, I'm gonna make it. There's no way to plan at the 5 and 10 year marks that people used to do. You can't amortize that out and do anything. Your charter requires your capital projects to be on how many year plan, guys? A 5-year plan. And I heard Cynthia, I heard Madam President just say it a while ago. You've got to be thinking about this stuff out a little longer than 1 year. When y'all go to look at your capital budget in this budget process, you're looking at 5 years. And so when you ask, why would we start thinking about this 2 years early? Because that's the best practice everywhere but here, apparently.
I would disagree with that.
It is.
I would disagree with that.
Well, that's why, does the State Bond Commission recommend it?
Okay, but a lot of stuff that you said, Mayor, I don't dispute, I don't agree, I'm not gonna challenge, and it could be factually correct.
Thank you.
My concern is, I got 3 constituents in the audience whose opinion I rely on, and I respect. Ms. Augustine, Ms. Fulton, and Ms. Jackson. These are 3 ladies whose opinion I respect. This is, and you said it earlier, we're in a unique time. When in the past, this was mundane and ordinary, now it's not. So people want to know what's going on. It would be nice that we would have had this discussion before we got to this moment and take this vote.
You can't have it until you put it on. This is not our discussion. Your city attorney, we all agree. This is your discussion.
Okay, all right. So,
I've been talking about these projects for 2 years.
okay, but Mr. Sluter said it's recommended that we do it at least 2.5 years. If we delay this a little while, would that harm anything?
What is, you took the words out of my mouth, what is the legacy of the latest? Because I feel, you know, with my house, everyone is not only here, and the Cynthia and Damson, and, Mr. Green, and we have our constituents in here. So, some of the language, we could probably redo some of the language. But, you know, I know we're on a time crunch. We're on a time crunch, so what is the latest we could possibly, that's this question, and I know someone is texting me to ask that question too.
What would you plan to say?
No, I didn't ask the question.
That's the question.
As far as being on the May 3rd ballot?
No. Now, I know the May 3rd ballot, that's an election for a clerk of court, but aren't there fall elections?
There are currently 4 elections each year, 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall.
All right, but aren't we set to have some fall elections this year?
If you were going on the,
I don't think so.
if you were going on for the October,
Okay.
if you were going for the October 11th election this year, you would need to start the process at the March meeting next month.
Okay, what, I mean, so, say October, would that affect our money? Would that affect anything?
You would do this prior to its expiration, and you will continue to collect it uninterrupted. That is correct.
That's what, I had asked, and that's what I had said, that we need to get out and educate the people. And
Yes.
the mayor, I said that to you, am I correct?
You have said that you think people do not understand what this is tonight and in general.
Councilman Robert Dye.
Well, I agree with you 110%.
Councilman, I said that we need
There are a
to
lot of
get
people
out.
that do understand.
Yes.
Well, I'm not saying that a lot of people don't understand. I'm saying that we need to get out and educate them. We need to let them know in layman's terms what this tax is for, what will it be used for. And once we do that, then they may want to vote for the tax. If we lay out a plan and say, this is what the tax is for. I know you have Sugar House Road and you have the ditches and all of that on there, but they need to see it in writing and they want to know. So I'm gonna.
I keep on interrupting you, Cynthia. I mean, Valerie. I keep on.
It's okay.
So, we want this, if we put on a ballot, trash, right?
You do?
Yeah, we do.
So it failed last time, it did. So if we get out and do our town hall, do our stuff, do what we have to do, put it out and make sure that we push forward.
It-
Get out to explain what a village is, because, you know, I'm learning a lot of this stuff, firsthand myself. But we get out and do our, that when we put it on, it won't fail. We keep that right back to the same.
But we have to do it together.
We have
I said that, and I'm gonna continue to say it. We know that the tax is, we can't do anything. We can't repair anything. We can't get anything done without the tax. So we're recommending, I'm saying, and I've asked this that the administration and the council members come together, do just what Councilman Johnson said, go out, educate the people. And then they may say, oh, it may be one thing that could be said or that they learn, and we say, okay, well, I'm gonna vote for it because I understand it now. So I'm gonna recommend that we do this. Do we still have a comment?
I would comment.
Public comment? Ms. Sanders, you want to say something?
Yeah.
She did.
Members and mayor, and this, your assistants, I just love you so much because we are for the heart of our city. It wouldn't do any good to have a town hall meeting. We really want to know the things that ours and our district that are important to us is on that list. It doesn't do any good. I mean, you can, we know what it's for. We want the money. We want it, but we don't want it to continue to go out Jackson Street. Our underpads look like crap. It's embarrassing. It truly is. It's muck and mud. There's no sidewalk. There are people that live in the Our Lady Manor that have wheelchairs. They can't even go through there. That's awful. And it's been there for years. My grandson's fell in there on his bike, walking. It's just, we want to know what's working in our district. Put it on the list for us. When we see it, we're gonna love it. And if you follow through, we're gonna love it.
There's an underpass project tonight, so.
Yes. I hope it's right. I hope it's right there.
Yeah.
Ms. Mayor,
What's your name again?
Mr. Slugger.
Trudy. It was stated here that, this was put on the ballot in April and it failed. Reason being, as the mayor just said, you can always put out good information. That information wasn't put out. So that's why it failed. My thing is Ms. Perry just said that it's the council that has to get together. Did Mr. Fowler and Mr. Ballard get with the rest of the council to do this, agenda fact sheet? I know you can't answer that.
no, ma'am.
Okay, so the whole council was not involved in introducing this resolution. Okay, maybe you can answer this. What date will the city council submit the application for authorization to the State Bond Commission?
In order to meet the State Bond Commission's timeline, we pre-filed an application to preserve your option to put this on the May 3rd ballot. If you elect to do so, if you elect not to tonight, that will be withdrawn.
Thank you. How much is the current tax proposition to spend on the following places that you have that's on this, this renewal? And the one thing I do not like is including but not limited to me, and this is me personally, when you put that statement in, that means you can do whatever you want to do and to whatever place that you want to put. Now, of course, the last millage was done in April, and it was a very low turnout, I should say. Why? Because the people did not know it. And the $82 or $83,000 that will be spent for this, $82,700, according to the fact sheet. Is my suggestion that, as you say, delay it until the people know that the projects that they want done will be done. Because I've been in Alexandria 22 plus years and heard about Sugar House Road. And still, I understand the wetlands and the government taking this and the state taking that. I understand all that. But Sugar House Road on every ballot. My next question will be. My time did stop because somebody asked my question. We found out that Miss Mayor, you know what, Miss Perry, don't even worry about it. Do not worry about it. But I asked the people of Alexandria, if it does get on the ballot, vote no for it. That's my opinion.
I should be up there. Don't you see my district? Just so you know, the Sugar House Road project is tens of millions. And those projects take multiple decades to fund and do. And it has been on because in each of the years that it's been involved, progress has been made. And hopefully we're moving to a better spot than ever with proper funding. But look, the state, its part is huge in that. That's a you couldn't do Sugar House Road with city money alone. So we know that, but not everybody does, but that's the case. But when the state keeps a lot of its money, and you guys, if you don't know it, you're learning in priority 5, that's also a way of them saying, we've got money for you. But if it isn't a priority 1, that ain't real money. That's the promise to do something later. Whereas our money has been matched and ready, and we are making that progress. The more money we move from 5 to 1, obviously, the better we are.
And it falls right back down to the same thing.
You can't take it off, but you want it on the call because the state has to see it's still on your tax call. So some of these arguments, they just make no sense.
But what I'm saying is, once again, you give us the explanation. We have to find a way to, we may not be in this position if we found a way to let the citizens know. Just what you said, it's just that simple. It can't always be the council members going out to the neighborhood watch meetings. I know you go, Mr. Caffrey, but to educate those people, if we could have said that, or the people would have knew about the reason why Sugar House Road, is not completed or whatever, then they would have understood. And that makes it simple for them. But if we can't educate them, everything, they're gonna be blind to it. It's just a simple fact of communicating. And when I say communicate, I mean the mayor, his administration, councilmen, if it's in my district, me, Councilman Valor, because we have 3 councilmen in each district. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3. We have self and the 2 councilmen at large. So that gives everybody 3 councilmen to contact. So if we all go out together and work together, because that's what we want to see. That's what they want to see, Mayor. That's what they want to see, that you're working with us. That's all they want to see. And they want to know that we will hold you accountable. We have to hold people accountable when we say we're going to do something and we don't do it. So it's about gaining the constituents' trust, allowing them to see us work together. Go to these meetings, and I know that you can't make all the meetings. Jim, you can make some meetings. We have to become one.
If not, we'll be right at the same spot, we'll be back to voting again.
And I'm not, and that's not what we want to do. That's not what we want to be. We want things to happen. We want them to see that you see in there that we're gonna get the equipment. And we go to these meetings and we say, okay, Woodside, Town, you can have this is why I want to explain to you why the equipment is here or not. We just have to educate them and let them know.
We're out here working every day and trying.
I know.
I just, some of the idea that it's us, I wouldn't want to tell on you guys about how not often there's meetings with council members and follow up and planning things ahead of time and all the things we do. But I can't just continue to sit, I'm trying hard, Madam President, but continue to sit and have things that are absolutely false said over and over. Not just to you, but about people personally. It's about, so Sugar House Road, for example, if you, I know you do. I know you do, and I think it's unfair. But the pieces of Sugar House Road that are done, look at what was done there, just like we planned. We finished it. And what kind of home ownership, what kind of housing is out there? The kind you want, Mr. Lawberdane. And that's the promise of that kind of transportation corridor. That's why it was a top one in Spark and would remain and reignite or whatever else we do. I do agree with Ms. Augustine on one thing.
Want them.
You can have all the town hall meetings you want, and all it's gonna be is, you know, John, what I'm saying. That's not what happens, because you're being fed it's on pencil. You're being fed something that's false, that you could ever put all the projects for this tax in one. That's what your yearly capital outlay 5-year plan update is for. You can't list all the projects and have people go vote on that, because if any one of them come out or don't happen, you've got a problem with the call. I didn't know you don't. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I said something like, you don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years. Mr. Porter pretends to be an expert at everything.
I'm Mr. Porter, in case you know.
If you list every project.
Yes, you can.
Just regardless of what decision you make, with respect to the proposition, you have a state limit of 200 words in that proposition. There was a reference earlier to referring to a capital improvement program plan that has a list of pages and pages of projects. Yes, you can do that, and we've done that regularly on bond issue propositions, not tax renewals. Keep in mind, you're gonna have a 200-word limit, so you can't list out all these projects. If you do incorporate a reference to projects, be careful, because if for any reason you expend sufficient monies and you complete those projects, you can't spend another penny on an additional project.
That's what he did.
That's what I'm
Okay,
just
so you
saying.
have to go back to the voters to rededicate that tax. I've had that happen before on sales taxes. It's something to consider, and that's why you have that general lead-in. So this is a capital improvement tax for the city of Alexandria with a list, an illustrative list of the projects. And we switched out one, as the mayor indicated, for another project. But the purpose for that is so that you're not hamstrung as a city, as a council, as a mayor, so that if you need to have one project have a priority over another, or you need to add a project if you've done these projects, you have the ability to do that without having to go back to rededicate the tax.
So he just explained the difference of the dedicated call, which I was correct when I said what I said, and what you would do with a list. This is how we did it in the past. We did a limited tax bond, and we did a SPV for Spark. Let me just explain, and we did do the project list for the bond side. So when we went out, people could decide whether they wanted to bond these projects with a specific list, just as Mr. Slater described, but the call, which is what this is, remained general on purpose. And I would suggest that that remains the right practice today.
Let me just say this. This is why
This whole, it's important you out of order, because other people want to talk, Mr. Porter, he's out of order. He's out of order, Mr. Perry. Because look, I really need to rebut and refute what we're saying, because if I don't, y'all think that might be true. But I can refute that, and I can rebut that with information.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Mr.
Sugar House Road has $19 million slated from the state of Louisiana. Waiting on the city of Alexandria.
It's not waiting on us.
Okay, I stay waiting
The
on.
opposite.
May I complete my statement?
If it's a
$19 million that the state of Louisiana has. $12 million, ladies and gentlemen, we had from the state several years ago, we lost to the South Circle. We can continue and not do something with Sugar House Road, and you will lose it, I can assure you. Because what has occurred in Washington DC, we all may be in the poorhouse. I also want to just reiterate to everyone, the North 16th Street Bridge was done by state funding. State funding, State Representative Laura Dent. If I'm lying, you can call his office. So all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, we need to look at this, work well with it, and I assure you, again, I am not spreading demagoguery. Call. So whatever we're gonna do, Madam Clerk, if you don't have any more, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, Madam President, do you have any more people to counsel?
Mr. White.
Yes, ma'am, thank you, appreciate it. All
And Mr. White, talk about the tax, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, Mr. Porter was pointing out, Mr. Porter, here, Mr. Porter, I don't know what that is, so I'm not gonna speak about that, I don't know about. What I don't understand is this. Now, the mayor is saying you can't dedicate certain things to certain projects. It's gotta be one pot. No, that's what you just said, man.
It's not exactly, but I understand where you're going, not exactly. You're limited either way. If you dedicate too much and you have to go outside of it because you're forced to as a city, you're locked in if it's in the call of the tax. That's different from dedicating a list of projects that you bond out for.
Okay, but all I'm saying is, and Ms. Perry knows this, Main Street and Third Street are messed up. And I don't know why we can't get our streets over there fixed and everything. And I know the mayor said the drainage that, Mayor Hall got some of that money, and, I believe John Bel Edwards, Senator Kennedy, and Senator Cassidy. And I think Julia Ludlow got some money to fix our drainage problem. All I'm trying to say is, if y'all would give us something saying, well, hey, this money's gonna go for that, this money's gonna go for this, instead of having the general fund, it's almost like you saying you got the general fund money, and we'll fund this, but I still don't understand something else, Mayor. You said if the project is funded and you pay for it, why would it be canceled?
I didn't say that.
Okay, what did you say?
It's not that. It's if you put in the dedicated call, which is this for the tax, what I call the tax call. Shall the people of Alexandria renew, and it has that. We list a certain amount of projects to make sure that the public knows these principal projects are they're gonna be held accountable, that they're gonna allocate or appropriate money for those every year. But if you were to list and say only those, and they can only be spent on those, you're locking yourself into a position that they've been in before that is not good. And it can be either way.
But when you lock yourself in, that's the point. People get upset, but just like when we had the tax before and you cut off the mic, I never did get a reason, Mr. Carey, why those mics were cut off when we had the last year. All I'm trying to say is this, if you don't dedicate it and you send it one place and one way.
Mr. White, you're doing great. You're asking really good questions. Cut off mics. I don't have any.
Well, I'm just telling you, somebody cut off my mic because they told me.
I
it was cut
called
off.
for the question.
And then also the
Mr.
mics when we had
White.
attacked. So that's it, Miss,
Thank you, Mr. White. Thank you.
Mr. President.
He's calling for the question.
I called for the question. We're gonna vote on it.
I have my discussion I would like to say as well. I just wanted to say that out loud, that I also tried to make comments, but I understand the question is called.
What's it called?
We've got a motion on the salary, second, a large ad fees.
anybody's keys missing? Somebody's keys.
You don't want to roll on that.
All in favor? Any opposed?
What are we voting? We voting?
That's the original motion that's on the board.
All we're doing is voting to put the item on the agenda.
They're not voting for a tax.
But my question is, okay, if this thing fails, I wait 6 months to arrest it, right?
What we're trying to ask a question, he didn't say.
Yeah, if this fails, that's where you sit
Then
in
I
out.
would because if Mr. Boswell can't speak for Ms.
You're right, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right.
Mr. Powell,
Yes.
Ms. Alar,
Yes.
Mr. Larson,
Abstain.
Ms. Perry,
I'm standing.
Mr. Johnson,
I'm staying.
Ms. Delphine. Yes. Mr. Green.
No.
Okay, we have 1 no, 3 yeses, and 3 abstains, so the motion is.
No, it
No,
doesn't
it
fail.
doesn't.
It does not fail.
Right, it doesn't, it does not.
The matter did not fail. The matter is, to be returned to the agenda. Unfortunately, procedurally, as we understand it, we have to confirm this, Mr. Shu. You cannot meet the deadline for May because of your action tonight. The people will not be able to vote.
So because of the extension, you did not force a full 6-month table, so that.
Right.
You ready?
Number 4. Resolution to correspond City Class and City of Come Out for hearing in March 2025.
Motion.
Move.
Second.
Y'all can go ahead and pass it. I think it's canceled, but it doesn't hurt to pass it because it's a co-sponsorship. So I don't know that. It's still, in case it's not, I would just suggest vote for the resolution. It doesn't hurt you. It's just an expression of the will to co-sponsor if it still happens. If not, if they cancel it for the March event, then we won't go forward.
Motion by Councilman Ballard, second by Councilman Johnson. Public comments, discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, resolution to co-sponsor the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, Louisiana Brownfield Conference in June 2025.
Motion,
Move.
second, please.
Second,
Motion by Councilman Ballard, second by Councilwoman Felcher. Public comments.
You need to call?
Provide
My name on
Yes,
it?
yes, I just advised, I'm sorry about that.
Now, on this environmental, this is the conference that's coming here? Hello?
Make your comments.
No, I'm saying, is this something that's coming?
We don't know.
Huh?
Mark, still on.
It's not a Q and A. Well, see, I'm trying to get something about this carbon capture business. We need to stop that. That'll poison our aquifers and stuff. That's why I asked if the conference is gonna be talking about carbon capture and poison our aquifers. We'll be like Flint, Michigan. We'll be drinking bottled water and all like that. So that's what I'm asking. What is it? What is this environmental thing? That's what I'm asking. Hello?
It's a conference.
It's a conference. They
Yes.
talk about carbon capture or anything like
We
that?
don't know what they will talk about.
Okay, well, I was just asking, that's why I'm
saying
asking.
we won't know until we
Okay.
have a conference.
All right,
That's
that's why
all.
I'm asking.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carried.
Motion carried.
Item number 6, resolution to co-sponsor the loan bond 5K to be held in April 2025.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lloyd, second by Councilman Johnson.
Gary, you got to.
Public comments, discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 7, resolution to adopt the 2024 municipal water pollution prevention audit.
Motion,
Move.
second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lloyd, second by Councilwoman Felter. Public comments, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 8, resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for chlorination and dechlorination equipment.
Motion, please. Move. Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Felter, second by Councilman Lawberdane. Public comments? Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 9, resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for electric meters and accessories.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lloyd, second by Councilman Lawberdane. Public comments? Discussion?
You got to say my name.
You have to understand.
I don't want to get up there unless you tell me the name. I don't want to get beat down, so I don't.
Mr.
No, it's all right, it's all right. Look, on these, are these smart meters that we're getting? You want smart meters, okay, the mayor's on record, he wants these smart meters. But I'm against the smart meters, that's what the city council and the mayor wants, because, I believe that they cause different things and stuff like that, and you see AI is coming online pretty soon, so you know that we're gonna have a whole lot of stuff going on, where they're gonna be able to track us and trace us and everything else.
really don't.
You never know, the mark of the beast may be right around the corner.
Thank you,
There you
Mr.
go.
White.
Cell phone.
Mayor, these electric meters. We just can point at it and get the reading from
I hope so, but they're not always that way. It depends. We try to always replace with meters with more capability. It's not always possible depending on the area, the infrastructure involved. We do require that in new neighborhoods that they be as smart, if you will, as we can have. I didn't look at that to give this. If I had that question ahead of time, I would know. But I will try to look and see.
I've had a few constituents in District 1 that they would like to have those meters.
Do they have like a certain home?
We push, we're gonna always push to when we replace, you're gonna have a higher level of digital meter. I know Mr. White doesn't want them, but so the reason.
No, I don't want the smart meter.
I think, but we need those because that cuts down on meter reading.
I was gonna say, right, the 100% best reason for it is because of that alone, but also it's safe. There's a whole bunch of reasons.
But you don't
Safety
have
and
like
otherwise. dogs, closed gates, all the different things that are challenges they tend to be able to fix.
So when they go on like, do they have like certain homes that these meetings can go on? Will some houses be too old to actually,
I think this is a bid for, I think it's a bid to, this is buying these in bulk to be stored for future purposes. I don't have exactly.
I'm almost sure that Mr. Markout told me that replacement meters for the new digital reading and the old meters.
I believe that, and that's what I think I'm saying to you guys, but to be careful, you know, if this is a group, a batch that does some other thing, I don't want to be locked into that. The intent is always that we're going to be doing the newer meters.
can you get that information? Sure. Okay. Discussions, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 10, resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for operating controls for the wastewater department.
Mr. Canella says he thinks these are regular analog meters that they're doing to buy for minutes. So you should be happy. But our policy rule is new meters that go on in new neighborhoods when developers are required to do them. And when we go replace them, that's the case. But we have to have an amount of meters that are, kept by us. So if you have to replace one, there's damage road that we go up. It says they're digital, I said analog, they're not, but they're not radio smart.
Motion by Carl, second by Councilman Johnson. Any other comments, discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 11, resolution to co-sponsor the 318 United LLC Basketball League.
Motion by
No response.
second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lloyd, second by Councilman Johnson. Public comments? Discussion? Well, I would like to thank you, young man, for taking the time out your busy schedule and have fun with all these young boys that you're gonna coach in basketball, including my grandson.
Tell them, come up to the building.
And Mr. Jones.
So basically, 318 United Basketball League, we kind of replaced Kappa League. Kappa League was around forever. Some of the council people were familiar with the sponsor teams, and it went away for a while. So about a year ago, we started the 318 United organization, and our first year out, we had about 320 kids. This year, we have 306. We have 36 teams. So we have kids. We have a lady that drives from Leesville to play in the league. We have a kid from Lake Charles. And basically just move around to different high schools and stuff like that, to, keep the kid, energized. We sponsorship about 15% of our, positions in the league. So, this partnership is really important to us because it helps alleviate our cost for facilities. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of basketball facilities here. So, the partnership will allow us to use the endeavor you guys have to use the facilities with regular and school board. Yes, sir.
You guys play local gym?
Yes, sir.
What's y'all main?
So I mean, we actually rotate. So last season we played a Saturday at Tioga High School. We played another Saturday in Pineville. We played in Ash. And we use all the schools for practices. We play at Peabody as well.
The last question is age limit?
We're first grade, eighth grade. We need a coach though. There you go, coach.
But I just want to thank you guys for reaching out to myself and Councilman Green, because this is a great thing that you're doing. We know that our boys need something to do, and thank you.
It's co-ed. So that was one of the things we're most proud of, We grew the league this year. We have 5 all-girl teams. Oh, sorry, 6 all-girl teams.
I have a couple comments. Of course, I know many of your players who are on your teams. And I went to your website, saw your mission, and I also saw that anyone can be a sponsor to help out your organization, your league. And I thought that was really great. So I would encourage anyone in the public, if you do want to get involved, you don't have the time to coach. I know I saw that you had sponsorship packages, and I think that's great because the kids really, really love playing. I think the mission that you have to mentor kids is just phenomenal, and I've seen that. And I don't know if you remember, but former parent of Mr. Jones and your daughter. So tell her I said, hey.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 12, resolution to adopt PUD's 2025 through 2029 5-year consolidated plan and 2025 through 2026 annual action plan.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Lloyd, second by Councilwoman Felter. For the comments, discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 13, a resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for Jackson Street and Aglocker Drive enhancement project.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Lloyd, second by Councilman Arnold. For the comments, discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? If you all don't mind, I have some very special gentlemen that I want you all to meet. Ms. Beck, can you come up here? And they came for Black History Day. And when I say they had some questions, they asked me if we've done a lot of questions. And then they asked that they come to a council meeting. And so we invited them out tonight, and we want to recognize our guests, because they said, Miss Perry, can we come to a council meeting? And so Miss Perry said yes.
Look at
Yeah. You got any questions you want to ask?
Yeah.
What question you want to ask?
What do we have in our mind that can curse for us to the number?
He's saying, what's going on new in the city, that with the,
And a
with the,
Well, honey, well, let's see, a lot is going on with the city. Yes, you heard Councilmember Lloyd,
Yeah,
what he said.
he said,
There's a Mardi Gras parade.
Mardi Gras parade.
All right, do you like parade?
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm sure, Ms. Beck's gonna take y'all.
We'll be having a parade in our facility on, tomorrow.
Ms. Beck, come up to the.
Tomorrow, out, gotta get the party.
Gotta go by the podium.
Ms. Beck, no.
I do what they say.
Well, good evening, and I'd like to say thank you all so much for having us at your meeting on tonight. We're from Central Louisiana Supports and Services Center, formerly the Louisiana Special Education Center on Coliseum Boulevard. We came here a few weeks ago for Black History Month. In honor of Black History Month, we came out to see Madam President Perry.
Yeah.
And we came out to see her and many others in the community. We also had Councilman Johnson over at our schools. And we chose those two people because of the valuable contributions that they made to our community. And we wanted to expose our residents and allow our children to actually meet these people in person. And we had a wonderful time here a few weeks ago. We met also Clerk Donna, who was just absolutely phenomenal, hospitable, kind, gracious, to us during our visit. And we just had a good time. And so our residents wanted to come back to a council meeting. And thank you again for allowing us to come on tonight. It's been a pleasure. Now, we'll be going over all the resolutions and everything on the agenda sometime this week to make sure that Hunter and Andrew and Drake, that they're aware of those things. We're gonna discuss those things a bit further. Of course, they're going to repeat everything that has been said tonight to our staff and residents at CLSSC. And it's been a pleasure. A pleasure. I'm sorry, I failed to introduce everyone to you all. This is Drake, Andrew, Hunter, Keon, and I have to tell you that Keon is a very good friend of the Zydeco legend, Keith Green. This is Mr. Walter, Francis, and Miss Carolyn. And if you all would like to say something, if they can, this is one of our accused. Miss Francis works in our health rehabilitation department as well as Walter.
And now Keon won't be out.
Yeah.
I feel too old for this time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we thank you guys, and anytime you would like to come, just give me a call, and you're more than welcome to come back. This meeting is adjourned.
No, I'm not off.
Beyond from the swallow.
You can go. Whichever way you try it.
Look at that, look at that.
Okay.
Can't speak.
Hold on a second there.
Yes, sir.
Let me
Straighten up.
camera here.
He's an absolutely amazing musician.
Oh, yeah.
Step on up a little closer. How's it going there, Mr. White?
It ain't going.
Okay, so what's your thoughts about the meeting tonight, Mr. White?
We didn't get our questions answered. We wanted to know specifically how that tax money was going to be spent if we do approve the renewal. Instead, they say, well, we can do it this way or that way. But see, if we have a discussion like they do in Pineville, they let their citizens know exactly where everything's going, how much money they got. But over here, we're in the dark. We don't know what's going on here. And they like cutting off the mic when we had the tax last year. They cut off all the mics. We were the only one able to record it and everything. The Urban Cast hadn't been here, and KLV and KLX, they're not here. Town Talk's not here. I don't know about the Rapids journalists. So all the mainstream media not here, but we got a citizen journalist named Jack Hinton that's here with Urban Cast. But you see the way the citizens get treated. We try to ask questions, they don't want to answer questions. And that's wrong. They work for us. We don't work for them.
So what do you think is the next, what do you think about the decision tonight with the tax? What's your thoughts about the tax?
Well, for one thing, they need to go out to the community and talk about it. We just don't throw it on us. And that's why I got voted down before. But come to us and say, we're going to, like our roads over there.
Did you quite understand what actually happened tonight? It was 3 people who voted for it, 3 abstained, and then 1 person voted no. So did it pass or did it not pass?
I honestly don't know. I'll be honest with you.
All right.
I guess they said it's going to be on the agenda next agenda item.
Okay, all right. Hey, let me see if I don't think.
That's all right.
That's all right. All right, then. I don't think we got any that want to talk about anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut down here. Y'all have a great evening out there.